you'll notice there's a false panel. Behind that panel is a compartment containing an isolinear rod. If I'm not back within 78 hours, I want you to take that rod and eat it.
Eat it? You're joking.
Yes, Doctor, I am.
Very funny.
Well, I thought so.
What do you need me to do? First, take this. It must be chewed.
I hope this isn't going to be a problem.
Why should it be a problem? We're going to have a wonderful time. Now, if you don't mind.
Trekcast.
What's his name? Not Michael Chabon, but the other guy with Trek on CBS.
Kurtzman?
Yeah, Kurtzman. Dang, I don't know why I couldn't remember his name.
I remember his name.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Talking about how there's not going to be there will never be a return to the serial is the episodic version of Trek. You know, there'll never be that again because fans don't. That's not what the market wants.
I mean, he's not wrong and he's not correct either.
Yeah.
Because he's also on the network that's home of like NCIS and
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you like all those shows are nothing but serialized.
Exactly.
Or episodic. So
Yep.
Stuck with this. I'm sorry.
it's fine.
You're fine. You're fine, man. No big deal. It'll be good.
Yeah. So no, that guy's an idiot.
I know. I don't understand. It's like, what? How could he even say that? I didn't know if that was going to be one of your news articles or not, but I kind of wanted to talk about that.
No, I didn't have that. You can bring it up afterwards.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I've got other stuff about another showrunner who decided to shot his mouth off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. I can't wait to get into that because I
Yeah.
haven't been able to really follow too much this last week with everything else going on. So.
Well, I'm recording, so we're good.
Okay, good. Well, let's get right into it then. You guys ready?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to Trekcast. As always, I am Chad Waldo. With me today is Daniel Reyes and Case Gentry. So Dan Lombardo is out. If you didn't see for today anyway, just for today.
Just for today.
If you didn't see the video they posted,
change.
no. If you didn't see a post up on Facebook group, go check it out now. It's a great little post as far as what he's doing with Space Force and Space Command. So that was kind of nice. But hey, we got Case with us, so it's going to be a great show. We got a lot to talk about, and let's get right into it.
Yeah. So let's start with the news. Well, I thought Case was going to say something.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I should be recording this in my car.
We got to have somebody in a car. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is how it works.
We should actually do that one of these days where we're driving around. Someone's driving us. We're sitting in the back seat. Like we should do that in Vegas. Like the whole
that would be funny.
Carpool karaoke thing. We should do that in
Yeah.
Vegas where two of us are sitting in the back seat and we're just shooting the shit, talking about whatever. Someone's driving us around.
Or we
That would
should
be kinda cool.
stop people on the street and ask them random Star Trek trivia.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
Exactly.
And if they
That's
answer
great.
right, give them like a Trekcast sticker or something.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, knowing me, I'll be asking the beautiful women in Vegas, and if they answer correctly, I'll give them a hug. That's what they win.
And then they'll ask you for $5, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's Vegas.
And then I'll have an STD, and I'm not talking about disco. Okay, so getting on with the news.
Attention all hands, it's time for Star Trek news.
Yeah, so our first news story comes to us from StarTrek.com, and the headline reads, Jonathan Del Arco shares a message with fans. So, we're going to go right into spoiler territory.
Oh,
If you've
yeah.
not seen the latest episode, then go watch the latest episode and then listen to this.
Yep.
So, yeah. It was the end of Hugh,
Yeah.
And they killed him off. And so Jonathan Del Arco left a message for the fans. Basically, the message was pretty simple, just that he enjoyed being on the show, that, he was happy to be there. He also went on to say that, it was hard for him to keep the secret of Hugh's death, but it was necessary for the story, and it's a big factor in future episodes to come. So he's excited for where the story's going to go further on. That's not to say that he's done with Star Trek. He's played other characters too, so he could easily play other characters in the future. But
Sure.
for now, Hugh's story is done. but it is sci-fi and people come back, so whatever.
Yeah, I think that lays it to rest, though, that he's done. I don't think they're going to bring him. If they bring him back, they don't bring him back as Hugh, because Hugh is done. I think they've put that.
Yeah,
in
I think
coffin.
Hugh's done. I think Hugh's done. Yeah,
I've seen a lot of people talking about that in the last few days about how, well, we don't really know and can't really die. Borg can't really die. That kind of thing. It's like, no, they're done. They're done. So
they're done now.
Yep,
they're done now.
We'll save it until we get into the episode to talk about whether or not his death was really necessary for the story.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying. Well, he himself is saying it is that it becomes a bigger thing later. So, okay,
We'll just trust you. Okay.
Yeah.
Crappy way to die. But anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. So speaking of Hugh's death, our next headline comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter. Picard showrunner Michael Chabon reveals why he killed a classic Star Trek character, and classic character being Hugh. Basically, same thing, that it's part of the story. As they were writing out the story, they felt that they needed this emotional punch to go with it to propel the other characters for the rest of the series. So this is why Hugh had to die. I mean, I get that from a storytelling perspective. Sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
He's become their Coulson, if you will, for the Avengers.
Oh, good. Yeah, good analogy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
People love him, but he's got to go. So we'll see. He also likened it to Tasha Yar's death.
Not quite the same.
So I don't know. Maybe Jonathan Del-Arco wanted to go make movies. Whatever.
He wanted to go be in soap operas now.
Yeah, he wants to go be in soap operas now.
I did say, I guess it was just a few episodes back, our show back, where I did say, one of the things I would do as a writer is if everybody loved a character, that's when it's time to kill the character. So I guess I'm taking a little bit of my own medicine here and not liking it. So, whatever.
If you ever get on Sesame Street, there goes Oscar the Grouch.
There goes Oscar the Grouch. Yep. He's gone.
It's going to be a very sad episode.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So there was that. They also talked about, just the what is it? I'm trying to go through this real quick. Oh yeah. One of the other things he felt was pretty big to bring back in this latest episode was the relationship between Deanna and Picard, and how he relied on her for advice. And so I thought that was really well handled as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. I like that Michael Chabon does these little answers the fans' questions, even though I don't like some of his answers sometimes.
Yeah. He's at least doing it.
He's at least doing it. So
Yeah.
So there's that. There's something to be said. This is something similar to what Marvel does, the transparency with the fans.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're trying to build the goodwill. So I think that's where they got this lesson. Our next news story comes to us from Inverse.com. I'm going to have a bunch of news stories, but whatever. Great little debate here. Is Picard and Discovery setting up Star Trek's version of the MCU? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Because if you saw that flashback sequence, there's shots from Discovery in there.
Yeah, there is.
They're straight up shots from Discovery. So.
Yep. And even all the monks in a circle, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That is from Discovery. That's also from that is also very similar footage from what we see in the trailer so far for Discovery as well. It's very similar. And of course, the whole destruction of worlds, if you really go through and watch that clip and pause it, some of those shots are from the same shots from Discovery. You can put them side by side and they're identical when they show Control's destruction of everything. So
Control is Thanos.
Control is Thanos, and Michael Burnham is Iron Man. I mean, that's what it is. So
that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's
about the Burnham. Feel the Burnham.
Feel the Burnham. My next quick news story is from comicbook.com. This one makes me happy.
Finally, something, right?
Finally, something makes me happy. The headline, Star Trek, Robert Picardo reprises his role as the Doctor. So,
really?
Robert Picardo recently announced on the Star Trek cruise that's going on right now, Cruise 4.
Yeah, the coronavirus-free one?
Well, we'll see. I mean, the Doctor is on the boat. That he is in talks right now to be in the second season of Picard.
Sweet.
Awesome.
So nice. Him
so I don't know
and
if they're going to bring him back to kill him. But
Yeah.
And we don't know if he's going to play the Doctor or Louis Zimmerman.
Eh.
Play either character.
Or just any other character, really. I mean, honestly, he could just show up as somebody.
He's
So,
good.
yeah.
So
Still,
I would
though,
love to see his image interact with Rio's image.
Yeah. And then complain and argue and tell him he's an idiot, you know?
Oh, God. Yeah, just don't bring in Andy Dick. You don't need that.
Oh, come on. That would be hysterical.
It would be funny, but I think right now Andy Dick is not in the right space.
No.
Yeah.
It'd be better to bring in someone like
Pauly Shore.
Yeah, Pauly Shore, or even worse than that, like Carrot Top, or even if you really wanted to go with the edge and just make it really bad. Yeah, really bad. Bring in Pee Wee Herman.
I wouldn't mind Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah,
Pee Wee Herman wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, it's just someone as comic relief that you kill in the background, you know. What was that case? I didn't catch it.
To say, just start like hashtag Doc Pee Wee.
Yeah,
okay, hear me out. You know who'd be good? Patrick Warburton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what's wrong with you?
You can pick any car in the aisle.
Exactly. Oh, looks like your leg's broken.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Where's the whiskey?
Well, that looks infected. It just sits down.
Yeah. That looks pretty bad. Want some Tito's? Just as good as hand sanitizer.
Exactly. All right, so our last news story comes from space.com. Believe it or not, William Shatner says playing Captain Kirk is played out.
Yes, I did.
And yeah,
I did see that.
Yeah, he's he told a fan recently on Twitter that he has consistently said he is done with playing Captain Kirk, and that he's felt that way since the JJ movies. Let me remind you that as early as 2018 in February, he said that CGI technology would allow him to play Kirk again.
Yeah.
And then again last year, he also said that he would be willing to play Captain Kirk for Tarantino.
Bags of cash.
Bags of cash.
Daniel, you must not see your Skype right now because someone else just joined us.
Yeah, with CGI, I could play Kirk too.
Nice. Nice. He's back.
Look who it is.
I'm not back. I have a few minutes of downtime. The notification came up that you guys are recording, and I said, you know what? Let me run out. Make a quick special appearance. I'm wearing a hat and sunglasses just so people will know it's me. Someone made a comment about my video that they weren't sure.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So this is a pretty good look you got going on here. This is very tight. You're all grooved. Look how white those teeth are.
Yeah, well, you know.
His coat is shiny.
Yeah.
My coat is shiny. Yeah. Well, you know what it is? You mix one raw egg in.
No, that's what it is. Yeah, I do that for my dog. It's very soft.
It's all those rays from the sun when he's up in orbit, you know, kind of like Kal-El getting recharged. Yeah. That's what's going on.
That's it. All right, guys. I don't want to ruin your flow. I just wanted to pop in.
You're fine.
And let you guys know that I'm thinking about you. And, thanks for filling in. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Be
safe.
I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
All right. See ya. I love it when he's doing his recording of his bit. Then he comes back. Oh, I forgot the phone.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Oh, that's great.
Funny.
All right, so Shatner, it's called Bags of Cash, and he will take the role if someone offers him enough money. But I kind of actually agree with William that we don't need any more William Shatner Kirk.
So you agree with him now, not 2 years ago and a year ago?
I agree. I agreed with him a year ago and 2 years ago, and I agree with him always because he's William Shatner. But at the same time, I mean, if it's me writing, CBS, Paramount, all that, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. Would it be cool? Sure. I mean, if the right script came along and it was interesting, then yeah. I mean, that's the way I'm saying. I'm both okay. It's played out, but at the same time, I mean, never say never. Never say die, as 007 would say. But
I kind of got to a point where, like, right after Generations, I was kind of like, I'm just about done with Kirk. But what would have been cool is if they could have kind of like thrown in just a little taste for people, like literally have a conference somewhere, and they're the episode Discovery or Voyager or wherever, and they're at, I don't know, Starfleet Command or whatever, and you happen to look, and over there in the corner is Kirk. He just happens to be there. Doesn't say anything. He's just there. Of course, I know the timeline's wrong for that and everything, but still.
Yeah.
It just would have been cool to have him kind of, gently go out instead of falling off a bridge.
Shot in the back, falling off a bridge, rock hits him in the face. Whatever.
What was the name of the actor that was the bad guy in that? Michael
motherfucking McDonald.
Yeah. No, he was Loomis in Halloween and
Ian McDouglas. I don't know, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Remember those moments we talked about where people are yelling at their steering wheel?
Yeah.
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Out it right now.
Danny Trejo. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
It's Tony Collette. Anyway.
How can we not remember who he is?
I can picture his face. I mean, I know I'm
Google it,
close.
I really don't care.
I don't have a phone to be able to check this stuff with real quick because I don't have a phone right now. I'm kind of in between jobs. I start my new one tomorrow. Maybe I'll have a phone then. Maybe I won't. But anyway, so I don't even remember the number for people to call into.
Oh, speaking of weird stuff tomorrow, the brackets begin.
Yes.
Or by the time you're listening to this, they have begun. So, yeah, I'm excited for that.
How many? I mean, you can tell me off air if you want to, but I'm assuming we got a decent number of brackets turned in already, or do we?
Yeah, we got quite a few.
Good.
Nobody has picked the same number one.
Really?
Everybody's got a different one, so that's kind of fun.
Huh? I'll be darned.
Yeah, including your family.
Yeah, I know. All four of us put in brackets.
Yeah.
Malcolm McDowell.
There you go.
I was close.
Yeah.
Malcolm McDowell, Andy McDowell's brother.
Sure.
Isn't that her name, Andy McDowell from Multiplicity with
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they're related, but anyway.
I don't either.
That's how my mind works. I have no idea where the hell that came from. I really don't.
Gage for the win.
Yeah.
Should we play Dan's video? I mean, he came on before we could play the video.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey everybody, so it is 8:03 a.m. on Sunday, March 8th, 2020. In about 3 hours, Chad and Daniel will probably be recording an episode, reviewing the latest episode of Picard. Unfortunately, I won't be there. The organization that I work for has activated me and sent me to a different part of the state in a response to the coronavirus incident that's occurring right now. Space Force Command has activated me in a support role to assist Space Force Medical on this mission. That's all I can say. But I did watch the latest episode of Picard. I pseudo watched it while I was in the vehicle traveling, so I didn't really watch it. I mostly listened to it. I really enjoyed the episode. This is not going to be my review. I'm just going to throw a few things out there. I thought it was great to see the Rikers again. I thought Jonathan Frakes just jumped right back into that role. I know there were interviews with him where he had some difficulty getting back into acting, getting back into character, but, he nailed it. And I'd really like to see more of the Rikers. I don't know if they're going to be showing up later in this season, if they're going to be in later seasons of the show, but, I wouldn't mind. And we say this with everything now, everything Trek now. They should do a Riker series. But honestly, I would love to see a Riker series. And, the way they do television, we've talked about this before, the way they do television is different now. It's an ongoing story arc rather than self-contained stories. That's just a fact of life. That's just the way TV is done nowadays. That they're going to do that. If they did that, I think they have a unique opportunity here where they can do two storylines similar to Lost or Arrow, where we could see present day, where Riker stated in the episode that he's still active reserve member of Starfleet. So there could come a time where he decides to go back to Starfleet and gets another command, and we can see the further adventures of the Rikers on whatever starship is assigned to him, and at the same time, a flashback storyline, kind of filling in some of the gaps between Nemesis and Picard. I would love to see that. It would shed a little more light on the Thaddeus Riker story. They obviously had a son who passed away. We don't know too much about it, other than he had a rare disease, and it's sort of connected to what's going on with the synths. I didn't quite understand the whole thing. I have to watch the episode again, but I was personally touched by that. I've lost a child, so I know the pain that the Rikers are feeling, and I'd like to see that explored. I think that would be an interesting show to watch. I wasn't too happy with Hughes' exit from the show. I think he deserved more than that. But he's a Borg. We'll see. We don't really know that he's done. But yeah, so I'm not home. I'm not going to be on the show. I'm down here for that. I don't know when I'll be home. I'm hoping I'll be on next week's episode, but no promises. So with that, I'm going to beam back to Space Force Command. So Lombardo Transporter, beam me up, please. I'm doing this on one take, guys. All right, but Chad, Daniel, please hold down the fort. Miss you guys, and we'll talk soon. Goodbye. Energize. Forgot my phone.
All right, so we should probably do some other hailing frequencies and all that,
Hailing frequencies. Open.
Yep.
Listener
Feedback.
questions, feedback. That's the word I was looking for.
Yep.
So we got a couple. Let's see. Tyrion wants to know, was Commodore O visited by the Red Angel? LOL.
Oh my
Where the
word.
bloody hell is Q?
We're going to get the end of all of this, and Q's going to be there, snap his fingers, and everything goes back to the way it was.
Wouldn't surprise me. That or he's gonna wake up next to Picard and be like, "Wasn't that a scary dream?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they don't tie the Red Angel in there somewhere. Although there was someone, I forget who, it was a few episodes back on the Picard where they mentioned, when they were mentioning like theology. I think it was Raffi who mentioned when Picard first visited her at her little hovel. She mentioned things like, she was mentioning a bunch of different mythologies. I don't think she said dragons and knights and things like that, but one of the things she mentioned was angels. Yeah. So that was kind of, I don't know, if they get to that point to where they tie the things that happened in Discovery that no one knows about, that's all secret and hidden, and they tie it into what's going on here yet again, then that just tells you that the writers, as creative as they are, have no ideas whatsoever.
So when they tie it together, we can play this clip.
Yeah.
'Cause they will.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what the heck?
When I saw that article, it said that they were trying to do an MCU, that clicked. I was like, oh yeah, of course they are. Because they saw what Marvel's doing. They see how successful it is. Every film studio wants to do it. That's why they're still trying to do like a Universal monster movie universe. Yeah. So
So
it makes sense.
I know it's jumping ahead a little bit, but how thrilled were you to see the potential that Control is involved here?
None whatsoever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's bad news bears.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, what the hell? I'm gonna turn this off and go watch Private Benjamin. That's what's.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna go watch My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, well,
Two Utes.
These 2 Utes.
Yeah, it's great.
I watched Splash last night with the girls. I've never seen it with Tom Hanks and
Oh yeah,
Daryl Hannah.
Daryl Hannah before the plastic surgeries, and it was a good movie. It was a fun movie. The girls enjoyed it. So it's going back to the 80s. We were thinking about those last night. All the 80s movies we need to show the kids.
Ferris
They're
Bueller,
rated,
man.
They're rated PG or PG-13, but really they were almost R.
Oh yeah, Ferris Bueller.
Ferris Bueller, yeah.
Mike Medina wants to know, were the Betazoids vegetarians? Guess not.
No.
Because they ate some bunnycorn.
They killed a rabbit. They showed the blood.
Rabbit.
Yep.
So
they're all about the fresh meats.
Monty Python will not be happy about that.
Pete is going to be protesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Graham wanted to, I guess, thank us for buying the first season of The Orville. He said it's simply awesome. Thanks for the recommendation, but you cost me money.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And Mike has a prediction that Soji will end up with the Rikers when it's all said and done. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
She did have a nice little bond with Kestra. That's her name, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She did have a nice little bonding, several moments really with her that I think were good for her character and for her development, because she is only 37 months old. I mean, really, she thinks she had a childhood, but she really didn't. So anyway, those were good scenes in the episode. Those were really good scenes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are good.
Yep.
So so that's all I got for feedback.
Okay. Yeah, if someone sent in an email to the chatiswrong@gmail.com, I apologize, but I have not been able to check anything over there for the last 3-4 days now. Once I get all my gear back up and going again tomorrow, I will be able to do that, and then we'll move forward from there. And of course, if you've sent in any voicemails to the Trekcast voicemail line, which I can't recall what the phone number is, you can. I'll check those and we'll go from there. In fact, I could probably pull it up in the background here while we're talking, but at any rate, the website anyway. 816-287-0448. Yeah. So again, that's
we're all looking for the phone number.
we're all looking at the same time and gonna blurt it out at the same time. Yeah, no, it's 1-816-287-0448. Leave us a voicemail over there. And it'll go automatically to a voicemail. You don't have to talk to a human being. You just have to talk to the AI that is Control. Okay.
Yeah, aka Google.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for feedback. We're moving right along.
I said Google and the Google thing went off on my phone.
Yeah, see, there it is. It's listening. It's always there.
Always listening. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's Echo Dot, we named it Computer. So in her room, she can just say computer and ask it questions. It's really cool.
That's cool.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You can play trivia with them too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun.
It does really good Trek trivia too. It really does.
Oh, really? Oh, right on.
Yeah, the little Echo Dots do.
Yeah.
They're
cool.
Well,
should
right.
we get to our topic?
Yep, let's get into the topic. We're just running along.
Yeah. This is where the sound effect goes.
Talking about Star Trek in this week's topic. Talking about the Star Trek in this week's topic.
Exactly.
So we're gonna have to get some animations to play for when the sound effect and all that's playing on YouTube instead of the black screen. I was like, oh no.
I've been looking into that.
Yeah.
There's templates I can buy that will look really nice.
Okay.
So, yeah.
We should do that then.
Yeah. We got money. We're okay.
Yep, we're doing good.
Yeah. Okay. So we're reviewing The latest episode of Picard. What was it called? Like
Nepenthe.
Nepenthe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Nepenthe, not to be confused with Roapenthe, because the planets have nothing in common. One's tropical, one's frozen. But
Yeah, but remember, they actually live in rural Nepenthe.
I know.
I
know.
kept
It's
wanting
really
to call it
close.
Namaste.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful planet.
Yeah, it is. Full of
So-
trees. It looks like Idaho. Not gonna lie, it looks a lot like Idaho.
Only during the summer, though, obviously.
Oh yeah, right now it looks like Trailer Parks and Death.
Okay.
Just looking outside, I mean.
Did he say
leaves aren't growing yet, so.
Did he say trailer parks and death, or did he say trailer parks and meth? I couldn't.
Both. But I said Trailer Parks and Death.
and now we're watching as the Trekcast subscription count from Idaho.
Yeah.
All 6 of them. No,
They don't got them their fancy computers here. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. So one of the things in this episode, I mean, there's a lot to really go through on this episode. It was a fantastic episode. Yet again, probably one of my favorites. The last one before this, The Impossible Box, was really good. This one is it's really good. It's hard to say which one's my favorite now at this point. And the level of nostalgia gets kicked up another notch as well, because there's so many things going on. One of the things I picked up on the first time I watched it, right off the bat, because there's a lot of stuff that I didn't pick up until the second time through this morning. Loxana's first child died.
Yeah. That's
Troy's
right.
first child died.
That's right.
There's similarities between those two, and Kestra was her sister's name that died. That's why they named Kestra. So I instantly picked up on that and thought, wow, that was really smart on their part. I mean, they really dug deep in there for that. I mean,
well, and Thad was the name of like his relative from way back when.
Right.
Yep.
What was it, a Voyager episode or?
Yep.
Yeah.
The other Q was with him way back when. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wild little throw in too. But I don't know why they felt like they had to kill one of their kids. But I mean, that's whatever. It was very interesting.
It's life, man.
And it is exactly. And Thaddeus, it's too bad we didn't get to know him, because man, he can write a 300-page book about a whole different planet and several different languages. I mean, that's pretty.
Thad was a nerd. Let's
that
just
was
be
cool.
straight up.
Yep, that was cool though.
Thad was a straight up nerd.
Pretty
That's
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yep, you had maps and the whole 9 yards. I mean, this just reminds me of some of the things I used to do as a kid with the maps and all that. I didn't have languages, but I used to write a lot, and I did a whole lot of maps. In fact, I've even got somewhere back here. Here, I'll show you.
This feels like it's about to be a ransom video.
It is, yes.
I'm really disappointed that you actually took your headphones off, because I really wanted to see the video of you going too far with it getting caught.
Yeah. Big fat Greek wedding. I almost did that. No, this is a few years ago that one of my elementary teachers actually reached out to me and found my address and mailed me some of my old stories that I wrote in elementary school.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's pretty cool. So my drawings and everything. I mean, my crazy cursive writing from way back then. Uh-oh, that was weird, Case. What'd you say?
Very artistic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's multiple stories in here.
Okay, wait a minute. I have a question. Is your handwriting actually that neat?
It was.
Okay.
Oh, my handwriting looks horrible.
Yeah. I have doctor's handwriting now.
Yeah, same.
Totally illegible. Well, this is what it looks like now. I mean, where's the camera? There it is.
Oh, yeah. That's still better than mine.
Yeah. I don't have the patience for it. That's why. Back then, when I would write, it was an
intentional.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Real slow. Now it's too fast. But anyway. But no, I really, there's 3 stories. Yeah, there it is. No, I really connected with that story of Thaddeus. That was really well done.
I'm grabbing my notes because I watched the Will Wheaton show again.
Ugh.
Yeah. It said some interesting stuff in there.
I connected on this episode with so many things, because obviously the nostalgia was great. The characters to me felt like they were exactly the way that they were. They developed exactly the way my mind said they should have.
Yep.
They were, I still thought it was funny when, Riker he's in the house and he goes, "Shields up."
Oh, that was great. That was so awesome.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
We got a lot of character building, character development in this episode. And for everybody, everyone got built up in this one for the most part.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It felt so much truer to what we're, I guess, used to, with more story and more background and still having some action and stuff like that. It's just, I think this was the best Picard episode they've ever done.
It felt more of like what we had before.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be hard not to, because you've got Riker and you've got Troy and you've got Picard all in the same freaking scene for the first time in 20 years, right? So, I mean, how could it not? And Jonathan Frakes does a fantastic job being Riker again. I mean, there's no discontinuity between then and now. That's Riker. I mean, period. He nailed it. And so did Marina Sirtis with Deanna Troi. I mean, just nailed it. So
one really subtle thing I noticed in this episode was, if you go back and watch like the first episode of Picard, Patrick Stewart's voice sounds different.
Yes.
It sounds older. And in this one, he sounded closer to what he sounded like in Next Generation.
I hadn't picked up on that. Really?
Yeah. It's not quite the same, because he is older anyways, right? As a human being. But it's a lot closer. And because I remember I first noticed it in the first couple episodes, thinking, "Oh man, he sounds like an old man."
Yeah, I noticed that too.
But if you really listen to the differences, like go back and watch some old clips of TNG and watch the latest episode, he sounds a lot like Patrick Stewart, which is great.
I think it's intentional.
I think it is too. I absolutely think it's a choice.
Yeah, I think it's intentional, and I think it really starts to come out. And the first time I noticed it, really, because I kind of thought about that, but I really didn't. It didn't click in my head until the second watching through, and he gives that speech to Shoji at the dinner table.
Yep.
When he does that, that is classic Picard, and boy, does he sound like classic Picard. Or older version, obviously, but yeah, I could tell the voice change was a little different. The cadence was a little different.
Because he's alive again.
He's alive again. He's got some excitement. He knows what to do. He knows where he's going. He's got a purpose again, where he didn't have a purpose, which, really that happens to a lot of people in life. Like if you suddenly lose your job or you're getting into a different job you don't like, and now you feel like you don't have a purpose or anything that you should do. I mean, what happens to people when they feel like they have nothing to do? After a while, they sort of just lose their mind. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. I've never had a time like that, but actually I have. It's called This Weekend, and it's driving me nuts. But no, it makes so much sense. When he gives that speech, that suddenly he sounds different. He's more alive. He's more energetic. He's got a purpose. He knows what he's doing. He knows he's on the right track now. He's got Soji there. He's not going to let anything happen to her. He's worried about bringing Will and Deanna into it. But which by the way is just fantastic. How Riker just plucks right. He pops out the plot in 30 seconds. I mean, the whole season in 30 seconds,
Well, that wasn't just Riker being smart, but that was like, let's catch you up and let you explain what's going on.
Yeah. There's a little bit of both, but yes.
A little bit of both, which is fine. You need to do that sometimes. But yeah, so in the Will Wheaton show, they had Jonathan Frakes and Brent Spiner on the show, and it was kind of interesting because they interviewed him at the same time with Will Wheaton, so it was this weird little reunion. But one of the things that they mentioned was that right after that Las Vegas show where Patrick Stewart came out and announced that they were going to do the Picard show, soon after that, Patrick Stewart took a bunch of those cast members out to dinner. And, the thought was like, oh, he's going to explain the show to us. And he basically just sat him down and said, look, you're not going to be on the show. It's a completely different story. Like, he broke it down to them gently, I guess, is what they were saying. And so it's interesting that the original intent was that they would never be on the show. And now we've since have had Riker and Deanna and Hugh and, one of the other things too.
Guinan, I mean.
Yeah, they went and got Guinan. Apparently they're going to get the Doctor.
Yeah.
So it's funny how it's shaping out.
Yeah.
another thing that was interesting is Jonathan Frakes, because he directs both series, Discovery and he talked a little bit about Discovery for season 3. Just one quick nugget. He said that season 3 is a lot more joyful than anything we've seen before. Yeah. Well, they're unshackled from canon. So
we're 930 years into the future. The Federation's all but destroyed, and it's more joyful than ever before.
That's what he says.
I mean,
I know. Oh, I know.
Okay. Okay.
The other thing that he said was that, yes, Riker still plays the trombone, but would not confirm whether or not Riker is the best trombonist on that planet.
Is he still missing that one note? That's what I want to know. That one note. Does he get it yet? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But that was just interesting. This was probably the best of the Will Wheaton shows. Still horrible, but but not bad.
I let
Better
you
I'm
watch
just
those,
getting used
buddy.
to it.
Yep, I let you watch those.
Yeah.
So the episode starts out with Agnes and O, and we get more detail into their meeting and what was said and what was shown to her. And of course, this just pissed me off in the first 30 seconds because this is where you see all these flashbacks of whatever happened whenever, or in the future, or whenever it's supposed to happen. Vulcans don't believe in time travel, but I guess they do now. And it's control all over again is what it is. I mean, it's the same type of thing all over again from Discovery, which is really disappointing. And it's even more disappointing that, let's just look at it from this standpoint. So, Daniel, you're in love with a woman, and her name's Elizabeth, and you've been together for...
That's my sister's name, yo.
Okay, well, then you're in love with a woman, and her name's Deanna.
Okay.
And you've been with Deanna for 10 years. And you love Deanna. She's just the light of your life. And you two work together all the time, and you day trade, and you're just always together, right? And you're both like two peas in a... Yeah, you're both two peas in a pod.
Indeed.
And one day you're out in the park eating your lunch meat sandwich, or you're out in the park eating a breakfast burrito.
Oh, see.
And a stranger you don't know comes up to you in Ray-Ban sunglasses and shows you a video of what the future is going to hold if your day trading continues. You have to stop. So in order to do that, even though you've already done all the things necessary to make the future of the bad day trading happen, you decide to kill Deanna.
Yeah, that's not going to hold up in court.
No, and that's Agnes right there.
Right. Here's the only thing I would argue with that. A mind meld is different than a video.
Yeah.
That, like,
emotions come with it.
Emotions come with it. There's a lot more to it than just, this could be CGI and faked. So,
well,
there is one I'll note about that, by the way, that this did at least answer one question for us, which was whether or not O was Romulan in disguise or actually Vulcan.
Yeah, that's true.
If she's mind meld, she's got to be Vulcan.
That's true.
Well, yeah, you would hope so, unless of course Romulans can do it now too, because you never know what the hell they're going to do with the writing.
But they want, yeah.
So, but I do lead credence to that. You're right. I would think that leads almost 100% confirmation that she is Vulcan. At the same time, those memories that she has of that future event, how do we know those aren't implanted in her by the Zhat Vash?
So there's a theory that the vision that she showed is Spock's original vision.
Yeah.
Because from season 2 Discovery, because remember, he's like, I saw what happened, this is why we got to stop control, blah, blah, blah. And so it's that vision that's been passed down the generations. Which makes sense, he's Vulcan too, so...
So he would have had to have shared it with someone then?
Well, he shared it with Michael Burnham.
She's gone, because she's in the future.
She's always in our hearts.
Oh, no.
She's Chad's heart.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I love Sonequa Martin Green, but my Lord.
No, but you could easily just say that this vision has been passed down to the generations, and
he just walked with somebody and went, "Remember," and that.
Yeah.
Now they've got it. Okay.
Oh yeah, McCoy could have had it at some point.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then when Spock tried to unify the Romulans, that's when the secret could have gotten out to the Romulans.
Oh, geez. Now you're making it make too much sense. It's
Yeah!
it's silly, though. It's silly, but yeah, it could all be there.
There's your justification.
It could all be there. Yeah.
canon.
Well, if the three of us could sit and talk about it for 5 minutes and come up with some sort of plausi justification, the writers have had more time than that. So,
Well, like I said, sometimes you just have to try.
yeah. Is that Gentleman Jack you're drinking? I see it says Jack on the cup.
It's Jack in the Box cup.
Oh, okay.
I don't drink alcohol.
I know. I'm just teasing. I'm the one who drinks alcohol on the show.
I have some delightful green tea.
Drink at Star Trek Las Vegas a lot cheaper. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, yeah. My Vegas drinks will be cheap.
By the way, speaking of, at some point, I'm hoping that there's going to be discussion of like a meetup in STLV.
Oh yeah, we will. We will.
That is the plan.
I love mozzarella sticks too much to not do that.
I guess I'm buying Daniel mozzarella sticks.
Sure. We'll see.
No, there is going to be a meetup. We've tentatively discussed our days that we're going to be there. I don't think we've nailed anything down in stone yet, but we have tentatively discussed those days. And it's pretty much almost the entire length of the show is kind of what Dan and Daniel are talking about. I might not be able to be there as long as that, but especially with the new job. But I mean, I'll have time to take off to go. That's not a problem. But I just don't know how much time and how that's going to play out. But
and I'll probably spend a couple extra days in Vegas just because why not?
Yeah. See, I won't be able to do that, but I'll definitely be there for a long enough time, 2 or 3 days, for us to have meetups, if not once, twice, 3 times.
I want to go to the pinball museum while I'm there. So
yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot to do. We'll have a lot of things. We'll have to kind of nail things down here in the next month or two and then share that with everybody and get everything kind of nailed down. But
for sure.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a great time. I'm so excited about it and looking forward to it. So
I do have a question for you back to Star Trek. What do you think Bunnycorn tastes like? Like chicken?
Yeah, it's chicken.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little greasy, but it's chicken.
Yeah.
A little gamey.
Yeah, yeah. Venison.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say they ruined that pizza when they put tomato on it. Just saying.
Oh, no. Well, burn the
I hate tomato.
Yes, but no, you got to have a little bit of tomato on your pizza. And some pineapple. Just to tick some people off. Some pineapple.
Hell yeah. Oh! Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
The only voice of reason here.
Yeah, exactly.
All
so anyway,
right.
in that meeting with Commander O and Agnes, that still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. She gives her a tracker made out of metal or something that she has to chew and swallow. I mean, that was just interesting. I mean, whatever. So later on, though, when Agnes is eating all that cake, it dawned on me after a while that she's trying to make herself sick and throw it up. She's trying to throw it up. It doesn't work that way, Agnes. You swallowed it like 3 weeks ago. It's in your bloodstream. You can't throw it up. It's not in your stomach. I don't understand why she thought that. But that's what she was trying to do with 3 pieces of cake and whatever else she was drinking. Chocolate milk.
Are you sure?
I was like, what is she trying to like go into a diabetic coma? What's going on here?
Yeah.
I didn't think that because I was like, since she knew exactly what compound she had to have in order to nullify the effect of what she'd swallowed, I thought she already knew. So
yeah.
I didn't pick it up that's what she was doing with the cake, although it does make sense that she was trying to just to,
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for. It just wasn't well explained or well.
No, it was weird.
Yeah.
But
it only takes like a moment for like the EMH to come online and be like, oh, she killed the other dude and
well,
there's
you
a
would
tracker in her.
Yeah, you would think that now that he came back online there after she injected herself with whatever, that at this point they would figure that the EMH would know somehow that his routines were altered or something. I mean, unless he's just a really stupid EMH, I don't know. But or she's just somehow that good with the hacking on him. It's possible that he's still not going to know, but it seems like there's a loose end there somewhere that could come back to bite her. But we'll see. So And we get back to the at the beginning of the episode, though. Rios and Raffi are and Agnes. They're kind of stuck with the Borg cube. They're in a tractor beam trying to get away, and somehow just Nerissa or whatever her name is decides to let them go and let Narek follow them, since she knows they've got a tracker on board.
Right.
So now we've got the scenes of the ship trying to get away and Narek tracking them down. Never able to really shake him, even though Rios is supposedly a good pilot. They can't get rid of him, and he starts getting suspicious. And he starts getting suspicious of Raffi for some odd reason. These two know each other really, really well. He doesn't know Agnes that well, even though he just slept with her once. Somehow he goes and confides in Agnes that Raffi might be... What? Where's that coming from? I mean, Raffi's a sketchy character, but wow.
Yeah, that was kind of a leap.
It was, and he sticks with it even after Agnes all but says it's not Raffi.
Well, okay, to be fair, we all know that guy that once they get a girlfriend, they attach to the girl, and she's the end all be all, and Rios is lonely on the ship.
He only has himself to look at. Yeah. I suppose.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of a hole there to me, but whatever. So back on the planet with the whole reunion thing, because they kind of jump around back and forth between these. It is kind of interesting. This gets to one of the best scenes of the series so far. Between all these scenes between Soji and Kestra, because there's a lot going on there, and they break down an awful lot too. And if you don't watch it like a second time, you might have missed it, because in those conversations, Kestra kind of alludes to the fact that somehow she knows this. I don't know how, but I mean, there's a conversation back and forth that comes up that they kind of lay a seed that maybe it's not Maddox who created these versions of sense. Maybe it's Data who did, and they got the information of how to do it from Data. There's some hints there. They drop a lot of hints there that's a possibility, and maybe not. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just a MacGuffin or whatever.
I
lead you
still
astray.
think she's Lore's kid.
You still think what?
That she's Lore's kid.
Yeah, there's still a potential for that. That would be a nice shocker, wouldn't it?
Well, think about it. Data was very facts-based and everything. Laura was into mythology and different stuff. And she's very into mythology and feelings. And
yeah, there's always that twinning thing, the doubles thing, the circles, the infinity symbol, all of it. There's a lot of that tied into it. And of course, that's the same thing with all these people of the Zat Vash that have seen all their visions of the future. There's rings and circles and infinity symbols and all of that too. So, and
they have yet to mention lore, because they want to pull that hard turn so that the hardcore fans be like, oh, that's right, he had a brother,
Yeah.
They mentioned before. Yeah.
Well, there's only 3 episodes left now.
Wow.
That's
I
true.
know, which really just kind of really? There's only 3?
Well, it just got started.
It's what it feels like, yeah. I mean,
break the room down, Chad.
I know. So, I mean, if lore comes in, it's going to happen pretty damn quick.
Yeah. So
the next episode ought to be pretty intense from what the trailer looked like. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I wrote down. Yeah. Anybody else notice that at some point Soji's hair all of a sudden has white streaks in it?
No, I didn't. I'll have to go back and watch.
Yeah, it's got white streaks in it all of a sudden. Like, it doesn't have white streaks in it until after her confrontation, her discussion with Kestra on the way back to Riker's house. All of a sudden, from that point on, there's these white streaks on one side of her hair. It wasn't there at the beginning of the episode. Yeah.
No.
I don't know what that's about. But, yeah, exactly. Watched it a little too close, I guess. But all of a sudden, it's there, and I don't know why. But this is one of the better episodes for Deanna Troi in terms of her dialogue, and Marina Sirtis's acting ability obviously is clearly matured.
She talked like
there were some real stinkers in TNG with her, but I mean, you could play clips of her talking about her body,
right.
But man, that was a good scene between her and Soji when she gives her the tomato, a real tomato for her to eat. That little conversation she had, the conversation she has at Picard, where she just lays on him about it. And Picard's kind of rough with Soji too earlier on when they're walking with Kestra, because he sits there and he tries to explain to her that no, Dodge was real. Your sister was real. She died right in front of me, but I mean she's real.
Yeah.
Way to walk slightly, JL. No one called him JL in this episode.
As they should not.
He gets shoved to the side by Soji, and she's like, "You had it coming."
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. That was a good scene. That was a really good scene. So
it makes sense though. Like, yeah, of course, everything she's gonna think everything's fake. Like,
yeah, it's gonna be hard.
Like, yeah,
it's gonna be hard for her to realize what's real. I mean, honestly, if you're looking at it from the standpoint of 24th century, you could wake up at any time and realize the last 3 days of your life all took place in a holodeck. Nothing's real. I mean, how odd is that?
Yeah. She's beginning to believe, like the Matrix.
Yeah. It's definitely a mind trip. So.
Yeah. So where do you think it goes from here? What do you think we're doing next?
Well, obviously the Fenris Rangers come jumping back in.
Yeah. Well, because
we saw that from the
Space Legolas set off the trip. Yeah.
Yeah, Legolas. Yeah, and I guess that's the only reason he decided to stay on board the cube when Picard and Soji left, was so that he could be in this episode and we get the death of Hugh. So
I think it's interesting now that we've got, apparently, because Narek was trailing them using the tracker. The tracker was given to her by O. He's Romulan, she's Vulcan, she's working at Federation headquarters. So I think they're certainly setting it up to look like there is an absolute conspiracy going on between at least these three governments, or at least three of the agencies.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, even in the beginning of the show, Narissa is in a Starfleet uniform in Commander O's office.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
and O knows who she is.
Oh yeah, they're very close. In fact, she tells her to go to the cube and check on her asset, her brother. So she knows all about what's going on. There's multiple things going on, obviously, in this show. There's a lot of different things going on. And the overarching thing behind it all that they've only dropped hints of here and there is that conspiracy right there. That Raffi was probably right, and she might have been onto something. And that's what got her kicked out of Starfleet. Because they've never really explained why she's not in Starfleet anymore. What did she do wrong?
They haven't.
She did something wrong, obviously, and she might have pissed off the people that were like Commander O and like Narissa and all them. Who knows? They might have kicked her out because she was getting too close to the truth, whatever that truth is.
The insinuation is that she's a burnout and she just, was druggy. But
well, she might have become a druggie and burned out after getting kicked out.
Yeah.
And then they made her out to look like a nut job. I mean, how many movies have we seen where, the person who's really getting close to the truth gets injected with a whole bunch of drugs and shoved out into the corner somewhere, and now they're an addicted druggie and it's not really their fault, right? I mean,
right.
They could have an entire redemption arc for Raffi's character, which would then make more sense as far as why she is the way she is. But
maybe her acting will get better. I'm sorry.
I know. Yeah. It's hard.
It's hard. I mean, it is hard because I'm like, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because she looks like a character I've seen somewhere else, or
I was thinking about that. I don't know if it's necessarily her acting as much as the dialogue they give her and how cliche it is.
Right.
So there's not really a lot for her to hook into. Like, they don't give her great, interesting lines. It's all like, I'm going to sit here and smoke my vape pen and be sassy. Well, then of course you're going to sound like an idiot.
In one episode, I'm just going to lay in my bed the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm going to play a bad mom. I mean, you're right. A lot of cliche going on.
It's a lot of cliche stuff, especially for Star Trek. Like, that's not how you normally handle that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to be giving her the benefit of the doubt, but
I can say that I did the same thing for Michael Burnham and Sonequa Martin Green, and I know she can act.
Yeah.
But yet she always comes off oddly to me with the half human, half Vulcan thing. But
now I'm thinking about like the Star Wars prequels. Like, a lot of those actors can act, but it was just the direction they were given and the dialogue they were given. They looked horrible.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's the case. She's a professional actress, you would think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I will say, episode though, the number of Easter eggs thrown in was just it was like being at a dessert buffet. It was so awesome. So many different things that were, if you were an insider or a long trek fan, you caught so many things that they reference to. It was nice. It kind of felt like an appreciation, and that was.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't have a list of all those. I don't have a list of all those Easter eggs. I wish I did. I wish I could sit down and just make a list of them as I went through and watched. I didn't really have the time to do that, unfortunately. But there's a ton of them there. And they even did a lot of their own like internal Easter eggs in this. And by that, what I mean is throughout the episode, we're watching Soji start to kind of come to grips with the fact that she's not real. Sometimes real is better, but some things about real are not better, as in that a real tomato tastes better than a fabricated tomato, but yet a real tomato might get burned in the oven when you're trying to cook it, whereas a fabricated one's going to come out perfect every time, right?
Point.
And then they even break down the whole story of Thaddeus's background with his wanting to create his own home because he was raised on a starship. He didn't really have a home planet. Neither does Soji really, but maybe this planet she's going to where she was created is her home planet, or she can make it her home planet. So there's parallels that they do there. Then there's the compass that Kestra gives her at the end of the show, which is kind of like, here's a compass. It's broken, but at the same time, it can still show you the way to where you feel like your home is. And it was just this nice they did all these little internal parallels throughout the series or throughout the episode, referring back to things that happened earlier in the episode. It was really nicely done. It was a great episode, just all the way around.
Well, and not just that, now that you're saying all that, I'm also thinking about how, like, they also mentioned how had synths been around, they could have saved Thad.
Yeah.
So like, there's room for both kinds of life.
Yep.
As opposed to just one.
Yep.
But one little thing about whether or not she's actually from Data or Lore was the head tilt. When she tapped her head to the side and Riker goes, I recognize that.
Right.
I don't think Lore ever did that.
No, that was definitely a Data thing. But that still doesn't preclude the possibility that Lore has something to do with it, even if she could have the positronic residue from Data, but have been crafted by Lore.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
I don't subscribe to the Lore theories. I don't think they're going to do that. I could be totally wrong. I've been wrong lots of times before, obviously, on this show.
There's a whole thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, if you're not going to just throw out whatever you think out there, then what are you doing? You're never going to be right if you're never wrong. So, I don't know. If it was me, I wouldn't go that way. So that's probably where I'm getting biased by it. But at the same time, I'm starting to think that Maddox wasn't quite the creator of all of this that we kind of thought he was. I think they laid enough little tidbits in there that it's possible that all these designs for Soji and Daj and where they are now anyway started with some of Data's original creations or whatever, came from Data's mind, came from whatever he thought he could do, and they just moved it forward. Because if you remember, on his deathbed, Maddox said that they're perfectly imperfect, and he couldn't have got there without her help as well. So it wasn't just Maddox working on it; it was Agnes working on it, and there's other things that came to play there between just those two working on it. So. I don't know. We'll see what her level of involvement really was. And for someone who's so fragile and so broken and yet able to do so many different things, she's kind of an interesting character. She really is. As much as she irritates me sometimes, she's an interesting character from the standpoint of Agnes is who I'm talking about. I don't understand why she killed Maddox. I hope they explain that again in more detail, because just the whole vision of control doesn't make sense to me. Soji and Daj were already created at this point, so just make him stop. Don't do any more. Don't kill him. Whatever. You can explain things to him, but she just kills him outright. So that's kind of weird. But she's always playing this character who's constantly getting ready to have a panic attack.
Yeah.
You know, she's a really fragile character, but yet she's right there in the thick of it, you know, and able to, you know, inject herself and knock herself out.
Do you think that we will have Agnes in the second season? Because the way you're describing her, I can see that she dies or something happens that she's done.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, I personally, I don't think in the second season, I don't think we'd have Agnes. I don't think we'll have Elnor. I don't think we'll have Rios. I don't think we'll have the ship.
Oh, that sucks because I like Rios. And
I do like Rios.
Yeah,
but I don't think so. I mean, Rios is there for this one mission.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And Picard describes them as a motley crew in this episode, you know.
Yeah, but Rios like loves Picard.
Yeah, you can tell he does.
So.
And I don't think Picard. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was just gonna say
he loves Agnes too, but that's a different thing. So never mind.
That's a different thing. It's lonely in space.
Yeah. I just don't see it because, I mean, it's called Star Trek Picard, right? And it's about his furthering of things. And maybe they don't quite totally wrap up this mission in the next 3 episodes, but I kind of got a feeling that they will. And the next season will be a different mission of some kind. Maybe it's along the same lines of these, but it's a different thing altogether with different crew and different people around him, which is why Guinan's coming back for something, right? But,
well, I think that this mission is going to expand out to the bigger mission. So, like, they'll stop whatever attack on the synth homeworld. I think that's the end of this season. And I think season 2 is now we've got to stop the conspiracy against the synths.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
So,
by the way, the thing about the perfectly imperfect that made me remember something from an old episode where Noonien Sung was talking about how Lore was too perfect. And that's why Data was created, was because Lore was perfect and the colonists hated him and, you know, all that stuff. So that just kind of was a neat throwback.
Yeah.
Thought to that moment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those. I mean, I could go back and watch the whole series when it's over all over again and pick up a lot of little things like that you didn't pick up the first time. It's just there's so much. So they have done a great job of that, weaving all these little things in.
Yeah.
So, and it was a slow start, but it was worth it.
Yeah. And right about now is when the folks who are listeners are going, they didn't talk about this thing. And what about this thing? That was cool.
Well, like, one thing I noticed, and I'm sure it's going to be in the next episode, is so Hugh tells Space Legless, hey, you're going to need an XB to move on. And then he sets the bat signal for 7 of 9, who's an XB. So
yeah,
that's how she's going to be the new queen, essentially. Go into the queen's chambers, set off that thing again, and go,
I am your queen now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am 9 of 9 now.
I am all the 9s. Yeah, I don't know if I'd necessarily call her a queen if she comes back and kind of takes over the ship and moves it out. I don't know if
she won't be the queen, but essentially.
Well, I think we've totally laid waste to the whole. You know, Soji and Daj are the new Borg queens. I think that's totally been laid waste. Those theories.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
They're Borg. I don't think that's the case at all.
Yeah.
You can kind of wipe that out. Maybe it's Control itself that's created these two. Who knows?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, geez.
Why not?
Well, everybody can put their theories on the Facebook page. I have a lot of fun reading those.
Oh yeah, definitely. And if you've got a one you want to call in, obviously you can call into the show as well and leave us a voicemail, and we'll play that on the episode. Next episode anyway. That phone number again is 816-287-0448. Obviously, you can send us emails at trekcasttng@gmail.com. Chad is wrong @gmail.com. And of course, if you go over to the coffee account and leave a donation, you can post whatever you want over there, and we have to read/sing it on the next show. So, Instagram as well.
That's right.
TrekCastTNG, Instagram, Twitter.
Dude, the Instagram's growing. It's great.
It is. It's huge. It's over 2,000 now. Is that where it's at, or right at 2,000?
No, it's like 17 something, but still.
1701. Cut it off. Nobody else.
No, it's like at 1730 something right now.
Cool.
For people like me, by the way, who didn't know originally, coffee is not spelled like coffee.
Yeah.
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 So you're searching the web for coffee account, and you're like, what? I can't.
Yeah, it's spelled. It's because it's new tech and it's all spelled stupid.
It's woke.
It's woke coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ko-fi.com. And once you get to the coffee website, you can type in Trekcast to find it, or just make it simple and go to trekcast.com. You'll see the link right there to donate to the show. So,
website's looking great, by the way.
That's Chad's work. It's
Thank
good.
you. Yeah. We got to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to write more blog posts. I just don't have the time. It's just writing is something that I love doing, but I just don't have the time for it. So we'll see if I can't make some.
I just had to beg for help though on finding the brackets because I was like,
yeah.
They're on the episodes link, which is the top of the webpage. Although by the time you get there now, maybe we'll have pulled it off because we'll cut off the entries for the brackets. That's a lot of fun. If you haven't downloaded one yet and it's still there, go get it real quick. Maybe we'll extend the entries until like Monday, Tuesday, so that everybody gets at least a day and a half of the show being up and hearing us make one more call. The voting will begin over on Facebook. Daniel, you want to tell everybody how that works again, just so everybody knows?
So the first round begins, this week as you're listening to this. And I'll just be putting up polls in the Facebook group, the different matchups. And we'll go through the week and get our first round done. And then we'll start the next round next week. I'm excited for it. It's going to be dumb fun.
Yeah.
Everyone that I tell about this just laughs and says, oh, that's a great bit. It's fun. And then the winner, whoever got the most right, we'll give them a prize. And I've got that set to go too. So
it's interesting you said that no one has the same winner yet.
I know. I'm surprised by that.
That'll be wild on the voting then.
Yeah. People's brackets are going to get busted quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my four from me and the girls right here, ready to go.
Do you want to give what your top fours are? Or
sure. The top ones. Yeah. My wife came out with chips and guac for the winner.
Oh.
My youngest daughter came out with bread and butter as the winner.
Awesome.
Wait, is that the gluten-free daughter?
Yes. Well,
awesome.
we're all gluten-free in the house, but
yeah.
My oldest daughter came out with pizza rolls as the winner, and I came out with fish and chips.
There you go.
So.
Wow.
If you get together with a group of 2 or 3 people, even if you just do it like over a Facebook chat or Skype or whatever, just put your phones on speakerphone with 3 or 4 people on a conference call, and you do it together, and you go through the brackets, just like you would if you were going to do an NCAA bracket. And the first one is hamburger versus shrimp sushi roll, right? If you just figure out the first one there and then go down to the next one and do all those that way and then march in, the conversation is just hysterical. I mean, I recorded a few moments of it with my girls because it was just getting out of hand and crazy, and I shared it with the guys, and it was so funny. Bella, her first question was, wait, all these foods are on here? Is this Daniel's menu? Is this what he eats?
That's right.
It's like, no, honey, no, that's not what Daniel eats. He wouldn't be alive if this is all he ate.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it was great. The conversations are great. So
yeah,
it was a great idea, Daniel. We got to do this every year.
It made me hungry.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next year, maybe we do something different than snacks, or I don't know. Maybe we do the same thing again and see if we get the same kind of winner. I don't know.
It's going to be snacks. It's
pretty good.
That's the one thing everyone agrees on.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So a lot of fun.
Next, though, we got to ask Dan to get to do his best for the next year to come up with the names from the Star Trek experience, from the menu.
Yeah.
We could all have Star Trek themed foods.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been pretty busy this week, but
yep.
I think he wanted to. It's just life.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe that's one of the things we can do at STLV is in one of our meetups, we can sit and do that. We'll be in Vegas. We'll be right there. It should be jogging the memory.
Awesome.
Take some notes.
Oh, that should be the next practice next year. Not snacks, but like cereal. Because then you can do live and Cocoa Pebbles. And...
Tribble cereal.
Tribble cereal, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, my gosh. That was probably one of the best short treks.
That was.
It is the best one.
Awesome.
Yeah. And the worst is
you ever thought about not being good at your job or whatever?
Yeah.
Maybe you're just bad at it.
Maybe you're just bad at it.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to ask because we're clearly coming to the end here.
Yeah.
My wife wants to know whether or not either of you saw the UFC fight last night.
No, I didn't.
So, hey there, I'm Anna.
Hello.
Hi, Anna.
I'm not really a Star Trek fan, but I've tolerated it for 25 years. And my husband has a group to be himself with. But last night I was at the watching the UFC fight with our 17-year-old son. And there's this one girl, I can't remember her name, but they were the girls right before the main event last night, UFC 248. You guys should Google her. So she got her face so tore up, she looked like that Klingon girl from Star Trek.
The Klingon girl.
Yeah,
the Klingon girl.
The
we
one.
don't know which one.
There's only one.
There's only one. That's all I know.
It's awesome.
That's pretty good.
Red can this camera catch?
You're fine. You're fine.
You're right. Yeah.
It does remind me. 2 nights ago, I was watching an episode of Stargate SG-1 with my youngest daughter, who's loving that right now. And Jack O'Neill is on their ship, the X-303, and he says, "Well, they didn't go for it." And Commander Carter goes, "What? The mission instructors?" "Oh no, they went for that. They just didn't go for my name of the ship." And she looks at him and she goes, "Sir, they were never going to call this ship Enterprise." He's like,
That's
"Why
awesome.
not?"
That's awesome.
It was so good. It was like, oh, that's perfect. That's not the only time they make a Trek reference in that show either. They make several throughout the whole series. So
Awesome.
it's pretty funny. Anyway, all right. Anything else, guys? Or we've kind of gone off the rails here, but that's okay. This is what the
That's
show's all
fine,
about.
yeah.
The most
I think we're good.
unpredictable.
I think
Yep.
we're good.
Yep. The
Yeah.
most unpredictable podcast that there is. That's what's great about it. So
Nice.
and everybody will be screaming, "Why didn't you talk about this thing?" And Case
Yeah.
is here, the very guy who says, "Why didn't you talk about this thing?" And we didn't talk about that thing. Whatever that thing is.
You got it. Well, the thing is, I mean, this show could go on for another 2 hours talking
Oh,
about
for sure.
Oh, sure.
So-
Sure.
That's how it works.
You
So
could.
go to
We
the
have.
Facebook group. Put it in the Facebook group. Make a phone call. Talk about it that way. It's how the conversation gets going.
Yeah, yeah. It really does add a lot to it, by the way. If you're not in the Facebook group, you need to be in the Facebook group. It's Trekcast, easy to find. The conversations over there are just constantly going anymore. There's always been enough people in there, but now it's just like it's always rolling with something different. Ryan Arno posting something every day, like every 3
like
hours.
if you don't want to fill out a bracket, you can vote, and that'll be in that group.
Yep.
So you
don't have to fill out a
all
bracket.
part of the fun.
Yep. So cool stuff. Cool stuff. All right, guys. Appreciate
All right.
it. Great show as always.
Thank
Case,
you for
for
having
coming on and subbing for Dan. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Absolutely
thanks.
My pleasure as always. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Well, there you have it, another episode in the can. Check us out at trekcast.com. Also, if you would, please subscribe to us via iTunes. Leave those reviews, subscribe to us, we get some numbers, get up the list, get more listeners, do more shows, have more fun. But for now, we're all done. So live long and prosper, and we'll see you next week.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.